Hello oceanography students. For this video we're going to be learning about sea turtles, and specifically we'll talk about the taxonomy of sea turtles, the characteristics that sea turtles have, what different types of sea turtles there are, what sea turtles eat, and how they reproduce. Alright, so sea turtles are a turtle group that spends their entire lives in the ocean, and they only come to shore to lay eggs. And essentially the female really only comes to shore. There are some exceptions, like the green sea turtles in Hawaii. They often come on shore. But for the most part, sea turtles are stay in the ocean. They don't come on land. So there are 7 species of sea turtles, and they have a bony or cartilaginous shell that's developed from the ribs, just like other turtles do. So we can see on this turtle, you can see its shell here, that is a hard shell that comes off of the ribs. And then over here, this guy, you don't really see a shell, you just see the ribs. That's because this is called a leatherback sea turtle, and their shell is actually mostly just made of skin. That's why they get their name, leatherback sea turtle. Okay, they are tetrapods, which means that they have 4 limbs, and their limbs are modified into flippers. So if I go back to those images again, you can see their limbs all have extremely elongated phalanges, or finger bones, like we would say our finger bones. And it's that elongation that makes it the flipper shape that they are. That makes it so that they are very good at swimming in the water, but they're not as good at moving on land. They are ectothermic, like fish are, right? So their internal temperature is mostly based on the external environment that they're in, and they are all listed as either threatened or endangered. Here is turtle taxonomy. So we're at Kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, subphylum Vertebrata. So that's the same thing as all of the vertebrates, the fish and the birds that we already discussed. And then the sea turtles are in the class Reptilia. The turtles are in the order Testudinus. And there are 2 families of sea turtles, family Cheloniidae and family Dermocheliddae. This Dermocheliddae, this is the family that the leatherback sea turtle belongs to, and it's really the only one in that family. So dermo meaning skin, skin turtle basically. So it's the leatherback turtle, and then the other 6 species are under this family Cheloniidae. Where do we find sea turtles? So on this map, the locations where you can find sea turtles are in dark blue. And so you may be surprised to see that you can find sea turtles all over the world in tropical waters and temperate waters. But that map is a little bit misleading, mostly because it's including all sea turtles, including the leatherback sea turtle. The leatherback sea turtle is a sea turtle that is actually able to migrate to warm waters and cold waters, and essentially regulate its internal temperature. The other sea turtles are basically confined to tropical water or temperate water, but warmer temperate waters. So their range is not going to be nearly as vast as the leatherback sea turtle is, which is basically what's shown on this map. Okay, so the leatherback sea turtle is in the family Dermocheliddae. It's the largest of the turtle species. It gets up to 900 kilograms or 2,000 pounds, and it is a length of 2 meters or 6.5 feet long. And you can get an idea of how big the leatherback sea turtle is by looking at this picture with the human laying next to it. It is the most migratory and widely distributed of the sea turtles, like I was showing you on the map. Essentially, the sea turtle, the leatherback sea turtle, will migrate between warm breeding areas and colder feeding areas. And so they are going between warm water and cold water. And this is actually special because sea turtles can't do that because cold water is too cold for them. And the reason why leatherback sea turtles can do this is because they can tolerate the temperatures due to their size. So extremely large size means that there is a less less area compared to their full volume to exchange temperatures with the outside environment. So their large size helps them to essentially not have a lot of cold coming into their body. They also have an extremely high oil content, which acts as insulation. And just like the tuna that we talked about, their veins are in a countercurrent exchange system as well, so that the veins that are running towards the heart are right alongside the veins that are running away from the heart to the extremities. And therefore, the cold blood that's coming in gets warmed up by the warm blood that's going out before it gets into the inner part of the body, and therefore the turtle stays warm. The other family, the Cheloniidae, is where the other 6 sea turtles are members of. So you have the loggerhead sea turtle, the green sea turtle, and there's also a black version of the green sea turtle. For a while they actually thought that it was a different species, but they decided that it was actually just a green sea turtle, just a different coloration. Then we have the hawksbill turtle, the Kemp's ridley, the olive ridley, and the flatback turtle. And again, these guys are found mostly in tropical waters, but can also be seen in temperate waters, especially seasonally. For example, along the east coast of the United States, the sea turtles will actually go up to the northeast coast in the summertime. But then as the currents change and the water gets colder, they have to return down to the tropics. And sometimes those sea turtles get stuck, and they actually get hypothermia, and they have to be rescued and rehabilitated and brought back to warmer waters. What do sea turtles eat? Well, they all eat different things depending on the species. So the leatherback sea turtle exclusively eats jellies, and here's a picture that is taken from a critter cam on the back of a leatherback sea turtle. You can see it going straight for a jelly, and they specifically like to eat the gonads of the jelly, which are right in the center of the jelly. Most likely because they have the highest nutrient content of the jelly. Then you have the green sea turtle, and as adults they are herbivorous. They eat seagrasses and algae. So you can see this little guy here eating some seagrass. The hawksbill sea turtle is carnivorous, so it's only eating other animals. So it eats sponges, as you can see in this image here. It eats tunicates. It will also eat different species of shrimp and also squid. The loggerhead and the Kemp ridley and olive ridley sea turtles are omnivorous, so they eat both animals and autotrophs. So they will eat crabs, mollusks, shrimps, jellyfish, seagrasses, and algae. And then finally, the flatback sea turtle is omnivorous as well. It lives around Australia, so it is eating things that are around Australia. It'll eat seaweeds, it'll eat cuttlefish, and it eats sea cucumbers as well. So I guess that it tends to be able to avoid all the gonads that get thrown out from the sea cucumber. Okay, now how do sea turtles breed? They are oviparous, just like the seabirds are. So they lay eggs. Depending on their species, they reach maturity between 15 and 50 years of age. So it can take 50 years before a sea turtle starts to reproduce. Mating occurs in water that's close to a nesting beach, and essentially where that sea turtle was born, it goes back to that beach, and off the shore in the water, it will meet up with a partner, and it will copulate or mate. And then the female will come on shore, and she will dig a nest that is above the high tide line so that her eggs don't get washed away by the water. She'll dig a nest, and once her nest is deep enough, she will deposit her eggs into her nest and bury those eggs. Depending on the species, they can lay up to about 120 eggs in one nest. Now, she buries them and then she leaves. So the embryos are there to be incubated in the sand, not by her. So the developing embryos are not protected by her. And also, when they hatch, they're not protected by anyone either. And so it's very likely that they get preyed upon. So the chance of survival of an individual embryo to being an adult is fairly low. And this is part of the strategy in laying a lot of eggs, because most likely they're not all going to survive to be adults and to reproduce themselves. Okay, now there is also a video that I've posted that shows you sea turtle breeding, and it especially shows you the leatherback sea turtle, which I think is pretty cool. So go watch that. All right. If you have any questions, please post them on the weekly discussion. And the next video that you will watch is about marine mammals. So I thought this was a good transition site. Have a good day.